Chael's guess, main event UFC 300. Guys, I have had so much fun with this. And this has never happened. Like, I sit before you today the way I started in this sport when I was a junior in high school, cut class for the first time with my buddy Jeff Williams, went to Blockbuster, went back to his house, put a VHS in of something called the UFC. I'm a fan, but I've never got to have this, which is an excitement and a curiosity and a constant discussion of what will be the main event. I have never cared. I mean, I've always been happy. I've never been unhappy. I knew it would all work out. I like heavyweights. Okay, they'll come up soon enough. Next card gets announced. It's not heavyweight. No problem, because it will come up. And that's just the way it's always been. Then we went from 5 shows a year to 6 shows a year, and we stayed there for a little bit. Then we went to 12 shows a year. Then we went to 22 shows a year. Now we essentially have an event every week. And I know that isn't literal, but it's essentially, what is it, 46? We go 46 of the 52 weeks. So I don't ever dwell on what it's going to be on a card or a main event. I'm always happy. This is different because they, in many ways, are working backwards. Generally speaking, when a card gets announced, when what's called an on sale, okay, it means tickets go on sale, you will release the biggest fights that you've got, and you would like to have your main event. And the only reason you don't have your main event is just contracts aren't done. You know it's going to be, and you got the yeses, but you got... Right, if you're working with a guy like Chael and you've got a yes, go out and tell the world. But if you're working like a guy with Jon Jones, you got nothing until you've got a contract, right? I mean, I'm just saying, there's different guys. Jon didn't deserve that bump I just gave him. What I'm saying is there's certain guys that when you work with them, okay. So for us to know about 300, for us to know when the date is going to be, for us to know where to watch it, for us to know what city it's in, for us to know what venue it's at, for us to not know who the main event is. I don't believe we know who the co-main event is. Now, the last time I saw a list, guys, Ariel had put it out, and I do remember Ariel put in a co-main event spot, and he put the word rumored, not confirmed, but there was believed it's going to be Leon and Blal. So it still left us with main event. Now, I am light on Leon versus Blal. I'm light on that. Something is going on at that weight class. I can't tell you anymore. They might get that worked out. It feels like a fight they don't want to do. Well, even a fight you don't want to do when it's so clearly the one that you have to do because you've got your champion, you've got your very clear number one thing. You got to throw it out there somewhere. So it would still leave us with the main event. That's the point I'm trying to make to you, right? Like, the clues that we have, to my understanding, is we have one fight left for the main card. So whatever is the next fight for the main card is the main event. And you also have a question of the big announcement that Dana made, which is Holly Holm versus Kayla Harrison. I assume that's a prelim. That doesn't feel like a feature match. But it might be. It's one of these questions. How much room do we have left on the card? If we're to the spot where we have one left, and Chael is to guess for you what it's going to be, it puts me in a tricky spot. Because the one and only reason that I am enthralled by this, or even enjoying this, I've had a lot of fun with it each day. And then even aside from you guys, I love our conversation in our chat section. But even outside of talking to you guys, I'm on calls every day. Talking with Stephen Quinn, I'm talking with Jesse on Fire, I'm talking with Douglas Crosby. It's one of these spots. I'm calling Ariel with these different ideas. Hey, are you here in this room? I'm going to Ali. It's one of these things where I really do want to know, but I am clinging, perhaps falsely. I am clinging to Dana's statement that we're all going to go crazy and love the main event. Because I know, see, here's the problem, guys. If there's one left, there's one fight left, I know I can report to you guys. I can tell you 100% Izzy has been called and Duplessis has been called and they've been offered the fight. 100% I can tell you that. The UFC has then later been informed we went in the wrong direction too fast. The audience wants Strickland and Duplessis. So I don't know how hard the UFC is pushing. When they called Izzy and they called Duplessis, if they would have got yes, it'd be done. Even if they found out, hey, we got ahead of ourselves, they would make the fight and we'd go forward. But they didn't get yes. So that bought them a little time, and then they realized the crowd has changed. You, the audience, has changed what it is you want. Now, that doesn't change my prediction for you. What I'm sharing for you is, let's say it's Izzy versus Duplessis, or let's say it's Strickland versus Duplessis. Great. That's great. It doesn't qualify for you're all going to go crazy. Like, we have already had Strickland and Duplessis, and we did not go crazy. We liked it, and we were excited, and we were pleased and happy. Like, those are all good words. We did not go crazy. This was not a jaw-dropping moment. Izzy and Duplessis has already been booked. We did not go crazy. It was not a jaw-dropping moment. We were happy. It was the right fight. We were excited. We anticipated. Like, there's some beautiful words. Those aren't the words that the boss told us. Not in this case. So that alone is what keeps me guessing. What would fulfill that? Is it an old dog coming back? Is it a St. Pierre or a Khabib? No, it turns out the answer is no. They're not in the testing pool. It is not St. Pierre, it's not Khabib. Okay, great. Okay, we went in that direction. Is it Conor versus Leon? And more than anything, would we go crazy for that? It might surprise us. Would we go crazy for that? I don't think so. Though you would have a surprise factor. Is it Jake Paul coming over? We just pilfered somebody from the PFL. Why wouldn't we also pilfer him? Is it Jake Paul? Well, that would be interesting. But to put him on top of the bill in a debut of the biggest card that you ever put on, no, I don't think so. That's silly. Is it Elon versus Zuck? I mean, do you guys see where to meet the criteria that you're all gonna go crazy, that to me insinuates that we have not guessed it yet. That it is not out there. Right? You don't get two shocking moments. So if we guessed it, and then we guessed another one, we guessed 10 of them, and then which one it is, we don't drop our jaw. We go, oh, okay, that's the one that it is. What you people said, oh, you people win, and we move on with our day. We were told that our jaws will drop. We were told that we will go crazy. There is no champion that is currently a champion, and there is nobody in the top 5 of contendership, which is who they go to for number 1 contenders, that we would drop our jaw and go crazy for, because we would expect it. We would love it. It'd be wonderful. It'd be a lot of good things. That's not the words that were used. So who do I think it is, right? That changes all the time. Who I think it is changes all the time. But there's always a story that gets told, and there's always a significance to the fights. And there won't be anything that's done to wow you for one night of shock and awe. It must be an athlete who, even if it's a returning athlete, is going to fulfill a full schedule. They're going to take whatever bounce they get from 300 and take it to 307, or they're not going to be welcome. And I think it eliminates a lot of people. I just think it's a very hard promise to make, that we're going to love it and we're going to go crazy. I think it's a hard promise to make. If you're bringing Izzy and you're bringing Duplessis, you're not going to fulfill that promise. If you're bringing Izzy and you're bringing Duplessis and you're not putting him in the main event, wow, that would be surprising. If we get the announcement that it's Duplessis and it's Izzy, wow, and then we get told that it's the co-main event and we still got one coming, wow. I'm hooked either way. I got to tell you, I have had fun. I have enjoyed it. Who does Chael think it's going to be? I change all the time. 3 days ago, I thought it was going to be Fedor versus Aspinall. It's very hard to guess. You got a whole bunch of pretend tough guys that don't want to fight each other, right? These guys don't want to fight. Nobody wants to fight. None of these guys actually want to do the fight. So who's it going to be? I don't know. For today's purposes, taking Elon and Zuck. That's my prediction for today.